This conference will now be recorded.
A very good evening to all present for the today's session. Okay, so I want to ensure again, is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, done. So in the last
Yes, ma'am.
class, yes, thanks for confirming. Right. So in the last class, we had discussed about the simple units of measure. Right. So, and we had also created simple units of measure as kgs, then we had liters, dozens, milliliters, numbers, pieces, packets, and all that. I hope all of you have successfully completed the simple units of measure creation. Now, we'll go for the compound units of measure. Okay, so let's go for it. Yes, so I discussed that when we are using more than one unit of measure, it will become a compound, like a journal entry. If you're having one debit and credit aspect, it becomes a simple journal entry. But when we are having multiple debits and multiple credits, it becomes a compound journal entry. The same way, when we are using one unit of measure at a time, it becomes a simple unit of measure. But when we are using more than one, it becomes a compound unit of measure. And as I told, that units of measure are not created by default, it is all created by the user. Now let's continue with the creation of compound units of measure. So here I've given you the path how to go about the creation of compound units of measure. Under masters, create inventory masters, select the unit. But why I've given this compound in the brackets as backspace is simple. Now by default, you see the simple unit of measure creation. So we have to convert the simple unit of measure creation screen to a compound units of measure. Okay. So how do I go about it? Now here I have given a table where we have kg, 1000 grams, then we have liter, 1000 milliliters, and dozen we have is 12 numbers. Okay. So how do we go about this? Now we know that 1 kg of 1000 grams, 1 liter of 1000 milliliters, one dozen of 12 numbers. So as I told that for the packets and I would not suggest because it will vary depending upon the commodity. So for that I have not suggested. These three are the fixed quantity content we are going to have. So here you can see kg, grams, liters, milliliters, dozen, and we have numbers. So we are using two units of measure here. So, okay. So let's start up the creation of compound units of measure. So all of us are in the gateway of Tally screen, and we are going to the option create under masters, select unit. Yeah, so this is what I want to show that by default the unit creation window is type simple. Okay. So type simple. Now we have to convert the simple unit of measure creation screen to a compound unit of measure. So I've given there as a backspace. If you observe here in the note, in the presentation, I've given as, if I have to shift from simple to compound, what I've given here as a backspace. Okay. So here I just press the backspace. Can you see? I get two options here, types of units. One is simple unit of measure, second is compound unit of measure. So what do? I select compound unit of measure. Okay, so I press enter. Yeah, so here I have to create the compound unit of measure. So we have this kg. So I select kg of how many grams? 1000 grams. So I type 1000 here, press enter, and we select grams. Okay. So, yeah, so we have is this kg and of 1000 grams. So the first unit should be kg, second unit has to be grams. Accept, yes. Next we have is this liter of 1000 milliliters. Liter of 1000 milliliters. Next, dozen of 12 numbers. Yes, so a dozen of 12 numbers can be taken. Right. So like this, we have to create the compound units of measure. So we have created kg, liters and dozens. Okay. Now, we'll go for the next set of discussion. Now, we have covered location and we have covered units of measure. Now we head on to stock category. Okay, so before discussing stock category, then we have stock groups and we have stock items. Let me explain the hierarchy to you, how this goes about, how this can be better explained with a suitable example. Okay, so let me take the example of Dell computers. Okay, now Dell computers is the Dell computers becomes the stock item. Dell computers falls under the group of computers. Yes. So Dell is a brand. So Dell computers falls under the group of computers. Computers become the stock group. And computers come under the group of electronic devices stock category. Okay. So we have this as Dell computers stock item. Dell computers come under the group of computers, stock group. Computers come under the group of electronic devices, so they fall or they relate to the stock category. So this is how the hierarchy comes. So we have the stock item comes under the necessary stock group, and the stock group is categorized under the requisite stock category. Okay, so this is the way we create the hierarchy here. Okay, I've just shown you the single product that's for Dell computers. Okay, now if I take one more example, let's say I'm taking an example of classmate notebooks. Okay, now classmate notebooks becomes a stock item, the nth product. Okay, now what can be considered as a stock group and stock category? Stock group, first of all. Yes, what can become the stock group? The stock item is classmate notebooks. It will become, yes, it is notebooks. So notebooks becomes the stock group, and now stock category would be as,
Stationery.
yes, good, very good. So it is stationery. Yes, this becomes stock category. So I hope it's clear for all of you. Okay. So I've chosen classmate notebooks. Classmate notebooks becomes a stock item. The notebook stock group. and we have as a stock stationery as a stock category. Now if I take one more, let's say I take IFB washing machines. Now this becomes a stock item. Okay, what can become the stock group? Washing.
Washing machine.
Washing machine.
Washing machine.
Washing
Yeah,
machine.
this becomes the stock group. Now the best answer I want, what can become the stock category?
Electronic items.
Sure. Is it electronic items?
Appliances.
What kind of appliances?
Household.
Is
Household
it
appliance.
is it a correct word? Household appliances is what we term. Household.
Appliance.
What do we substitute with the word?
Home
When we go
appliance.
to, yeah, very
Domestic.
good. Yes, it's home appliances. Yes. Normally, when we visit E-Zone, Chroma, or Reliance, wherever you go, all the washing machine. Why do we categorize specifically in home appliances? We don't see washing machines in the office. We can see an oven. Yeah, we can see a fridge or something. Again, refrigerators also, it's next to rarity because usually we see ovens or something for heating purposes. Other than that, printers we have. So all these can be categorized under electronic devices because it's used both for office and the personal use. But if we talk about washing machines and all that, iron boxes, we have to categorize them specifically under home appliances. Yes, so these washing machines are categorized under home appliances. Very good. So this is the way we create the hierarchy here. So from this, I think you have got a complete picture. That's what's the stock item, what's the stock group, and what can be the stock category. Okay, so like this we are going to create now. So first actually we create the stock category because stock category appears, see I've just given in the order itself. So first we have to create the categories, then the groups, and finally the nth product, that is a stock item. Okay, so let's go for it. So that's what I've given here. It offers a parallel classification of the stock items. Yes. So this all of you witnessed now. Classification is done based on the similarity in behavior. Yes. So just now we saw if I have to categorize classmate notebooks, I have to categorize them under the stationery, under Dell computers, under electronic devices, IFB washing machines under the group of home appliances. So under the similar to the behavior, we categorize under the necessary stock categories. So I've given here example home appliances, electronic gadgets or devices, etc. So how do we create the stock category? Under gateway of tally, masters, create, we go for the stock category. Okay. Right. So this is how we create. Yeah. So here I've given four stock categories. Okay. We have electronic devices, we have home appliances, we have stationery, and we have fuel. Okay. So first of all, we go for electronic devices, and then create home appliances, stationery, and fuel. So let us go for it. Now, how would I go for it? Yes, gateway of tally, go to the create option, go to the stock category. Please don't go to the cost category. It's a stock category. We are creating the inventory masters now. So we have created unit, then we have location or go down creation, and now we are going to create stock categories, stock groups, and stock items. Fine. So first we will select stock category. Press enter on stock category, then the stock category creation window gets open, and now we have to create four stock categories. So first of all, we'll create home appliances, and there's nothing to change here. Let it be under primary itself. Next is electronic devices. Under primary, fuel, and stationery. Accept, yes. Okay. So like this, we create the stock categories. For the ones who haven't done, you can just, yeah, you can put up on the display screen. We have four stock categories: electronic devices, home appliances, stationery, and fuel. So please do create it if you haven't done. Okay. So now we move on. Hope all of you have done. Now we move on for the stock group creation. Okay. So I've given here stock group is similar to the accounting groups. Now how the groups uh, play the role of a head, of a captain of all ledgers. Yes, according to the similarity in behavior, the same role is played even by the stock groups. Now, whenever we are creating ledgers for furniture, land and building, plant and machinery, we categorize under the group of fixed assets. Yes, like that. Here also, where we can categorize the stock items under the respective stock groups, again based on similarity of behavior. So stock items of similar nature, brand, etc., can be classified under a single stock group, which can be done. So here I've given a small example. If I take television as a stock group, okay, television as a stock group, I can of course add Philips TV, Sony, and Sansui TV under the stock group of television, because Philips, Sony, and Sansui becomes a stock item, the respective TV, so they can be categorized under the stock group of television. Okay. Yes, so here we have the path where under gateway of tally, masters create, we have the stock group. Now, which are the stock groups we have to create now, as of now? Let's go for that. Yes. So we have a big list of stock groups to be done. Okay. So here I've given create stock groups for the following. We have printers, we have computers, we have mobiles, books, television, refrigerators, pens, liquid fuel, and solid fuel. So let's start creating these stock groups. Okay. So first I'll start with printers. So let's go back. Okay. And on the list of masters, please select stock group. Yes. So printers under primary. Yeah, here you have to be very careful. There's a question asked here. Should the quantities be added? Should the quantities of the items be added? Please activate it as yes. Why? Because until and unless we activate this feature, what does this feature basically mean? Should the quantities of the items be added? Addition is what? When I'm making a purchase of stock items, it is an addition to the existing quantity of the stock. So only with the activation of this feature in the stock group creation window, I can pass a purchase voucher to record the purchase of any stock item for my business. If I don't activate this, I cannot pass a purchase voucher to record the addition in the value of the stock on account of purchase. Right? So uh, this feature has to be activated. So I'll give a small visual. If we don't activate this feature, how the situation would be is you would close the main gate, let's say of your college, and you want the students to come inside. And how could they do that when the gate itself is closed? So it's like that. You close the main entrance, and you want an addition. It's not possible, right? In the same way, if I don't activate this feature, I cannot create. I cannot go for purchase vouchers. Okay, so make sure for all the stock group creation, this feature is activated as yes. Okay, and beneath we have set or alter GST details. Here also we can set the GST rates. We can we otherwise we can also activate the GST rate in the stock item creation. So at that point of time, I would discuss about GST, and then we'll add up the required GST rates. Okay. As of now, what you can do is you can activate the first feature, and then you can and you need not activate the second feature. That is set or alter GST details. Let that be no the first feature you can activate it. Okay. So yes, accept, yes. Now we have computers. Then we have notebooks, or if you have given only books also, it is fine. Mobile phones, television, refrigerator, pens. Liquid fuel and solid fuel. So which are the examples for the liquid fuel? We have petrol, then diesel,
Diesel.
hmm, petrol, kerosene. All these are liquid fuels. Yes, good.
Yes,
Now next is, what about the solid fuels? What kind of examples we can have for solid fuels? Any answers?
ma'am. Charcoal.
Coal, yeah, yeah. Then,
Charcoal.
okay, apart from that,
Uh,
no other answer?
ma'am.
Ah,
Ma'am, wood.
very good. Wood. Yes, very good.
Wood.
Charcoal wood.
Wood.
Yes. Then which
Ma'am,
else?
cow dung.
Yes, it's a biomass fuel. Then apart from that, we know the one which is frequently used.
Ma'am, wheat.
Okay. Main camphor. Camphor, which we use for puja, right? So camphor is also one of the solid fuels. Yes, so we have camphor, we have wood, we have coal, we have biomass, as she told, cow dung. So all these are forms of, the solid fuel. Okay, so solid fuel. Oh, it's already been created. Fine, fine. So like this, we create all the stock groups. I hope all of you have created printers, computers, mobiles, books, television, refrigerators, pens, liquid, and solid fuel. If you haven't created, please create it if you have left anything incomplete. Okay. So now we move on for the stock items. Okay. Yes. This is the main stage we land off. So stock item, it is a primary inventory entity and is the lowest level of information on your inventory. Yes, right. So the nth product or the nth level what we reach. Now if I take a small example of a phone, mobile phone, I've just given a general example. I take Samsung mobile phones and I get a 32 GB Samsung mobile phone. So of course you can go for the models whichever you have in Samsung Galaxy. Then we have M Core. So all this. So I've just given a simple example, right? So mobile phone, if you take it as stock category, stock group becomes Samsung and stock item becomes a 32 GB Samsung mobile phone. Like this, we can categorize. We can create a hierarchy, way of categorizing our stock items. Now here beneath, I've given a few stock items which have to be created. Okay, we have Logitech printers, we have Vivo mobiles, we have Agile pens, we have Camphor, Dell computers, ledger books, petrol, and we have gold. Okay, so we have completely eight stock items have to be created. But before that, we have a particular percentage here. For Logitech printers, I've given it as 18%, mobiles 18%, Agile pens 12%, Camphor 18%, Dell computers 18%, Ledgerbooks 12%, petrol exempt, gold 3. What are all these percentages? Nothing but the respective GST rates for the commodities. Yes, this is the existing rate for the commodities which is applicable. Okay. Now, so here what we have to do is we will update the GST rates for the stock items. Okay, later on I'll be discussing about the supplies types, of course, discussing about GST, the complete concept and the supplies under GST. But as of now, we can update the GST rates and we can complete the creation of stock items. Okay, so let's take the first one. We have Logitech printers and the GST rate as of now applicable is 18%. Okay, so let's go back to the tally screen. Let's select the stock item. Okay, yes, so the stock item creation, what is the name of the stock item? It is Logitech printers. Okay, now Logitech printers. Now, just before processing, all of you are getting group and category, or you're getting only one option. Now you're having list of groups but don't have list of categories here. Okay, so what you have to do is you can go to F12 configuration. Okay, F12 configuration. Please select show more configurations. Backspace, you move up. So show more configurations as yes. Right. Now here we have the first option under inventory details. We have use stock group for stock items as yes. Okay. The second option, use stock category for stock items as yes. So please do activate it as I've shown you on the screen. The first option will be already yes, use stock group for stock items. The second option, use stock category for stock items, activate it as yes. Okay. So once you're done, you can just press Ctrl A. Okay. So yeah, so now we get both group and category fields in the stock item creation window. So Logitech printers. Now Logitech printers come under the group of printers. Now printers come under the stock category of electronic devices. So at the top only you can observe that it is showing list of categories. Now if I go back here, what it will show? List of groups. Is that clear? So we have both. So under groups printers, which category it is? Electronic devices. Okay. It is electronic. So we'll choose electronic devices. Units of measure, of course, we have numbers. So we'll choose numbers here.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you please repeat?
If you're not getting the category field, what you can do is you can press F12 configuration from the stock item creation screen and you can activate the second feature. Use stock category for stock items and as yes. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome. Then after that, press Ctrl A, you can get the group and category information. Now, don't forget to give the units of measure, please. Don't omit this. Because again, if you fail to give the unit of measure, what can happen is it will not again allow you to give the quantity details when you're passing a purchase or a sales voucher. As I told you already, that units of measure play a very important role because we are going to quantify the stock purchased, quantify the stock sold. So without giving the unit of measure, the vouchers can be passed, but you cannot give the quantity details like 10 units or 10 kgs or 10 liters. You can't give. So it'll directly take you to the value then. Okay. So make sure give the units. So here for Logitech printers, I've given as numbers as units of measurement. Okay. So press enter. Yes. So now we have GST applicable. Yes. So GST applicable. Let it be applicable. Set or alter GST. It'll be yes. Okay. So set or alter GST as yes. Once you activate it as yes, press enter. Yes. Now all of you are getting the tax details and the tax type only information. In case you're getting only these two, that is what is shown in my screen, I'm just getting the tax details and tax type. I'm not getting a detailed chart of the GS details of the stock item. So what do I do is, I would press again F12 configuration. Okay. What do I do? Leaving the, I would activate the first one, the second, then the last two. The first two and the last two I would activate. The in between two features we don't require it. Yes. Can you see here? This is the way we activate. So in the configuration screen, you can activate the first two features and the last two. So once you activate, press enter. Yes, now you get a detailed screen for the GST details for a particular stock item. Okay, and over here, yes, so we have description, we have HSN or SAC details, is non-GST goods, no calculation type, taxability, and all that. Fine. So now we are creating a stock item as Logitech printers. Yes. Now, what description we have to give here? Okay. What we have to do here is we have to give as printers. Why? Because Logitech is a brand. Yes, Dell, Logitech, Acer, right? All these are brands. Logitech is a brand only. But what is the commodity that has been created here? It is printers. Okay. So description you have to give it as printers. Now what is this Hsn or SAC? What does it stands for? What do we mean by that? Let's discuss about that here. So we have like this Hsn, okay, and we have SAC. Now this Hsn stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature. Hsn stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature. This Hsn is naming system for goods or any kind of products. So Hsn is the naming system for goods or products, and this Hsn can be 4 digits, 6 digits, or maximum 8 digits. It can't be more than that because in India, maximum we have 8 digits Hsn code. Okay, so it can be either 4, 6, or 8 digit Hsn code. Okay. Now, if I talk about the SAC, SAC stands for Service Accounting Code. Okay. SAC is the naming system for services. And SAC can be same, either 4 digits, 6 digits, or maximum of 8 digits. Okay. Yes, so this is a brief explanation what I've given for Hsn and SAC code. Okay. Hsn stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature. It's a naming system for goods or products. Now, how can we know or how can we analyze what is the applicable GST rates for the commodities? Of course, we will Google out and just check what is the applicable rate. But what is the actual way of verifying the GST rates for any particular commodity? It is only through this Hsn code. So Hsn code is like a naming code or naming system for the goods. Now, how we are all reckoned by names? We are called by names, yes, right? So without a name, of course, we cannot be identified or recognized. So name is very essential. It has its own importance. In the same way, if we have to find out the GST rates applicable, categorized under respective behavior, we require this Hsn code. And through this code, of course, we can come to know the current GST rate applicable. And how many digits are these codes? It can be 4 digits, 6 digits, maximum of 8, and not more than that. Now, if I talk about the SAC, now what does first of all GST stands for? It is Goods and Services Tax. So, not only for the goods we have a naming system, but also for services too we have a naming system. And how do we code the same? It is SAC, that is Service Accounting Code. So, this also has the same coding system, 4 digits, 6 digits, maximum of 8 digits of SAC code. Okay, so this is the way we go for it. Now, of course, I will show you the actual chart how it goes about. Okay, Janisha, are you able to hear me, Janisha? Now, sorry, I could see your message just now. Is my voice audible to Janisha? Is my voice audible to all of you, or having any issue?
Yes, ma'am, it is audible.
Uh, is this Janisha or who? Okay, so make sure, I think probably because of the net connection, is there an issue? Yeah, just want to ensure. Right, so now now I'm going to show you how is this Hsn coding done. Okay, let's have a small round of it. Yes. Now, can you see here? We are on the CBIT website, okay, the GST website. So here, if you can observe, here we have at the left hand side we have 0202, we have 03, 02, 04, 02, 05, then we have 0303. What are all these things? Now see, if you take one, of course we have here we have milk and cream. Okay, now what is the current rate applicable for that? It is 2.5, 2.5, that is 2.5% CGST, 2.5% we have is SGST, correct? So the total rate applicable here, CGST, SGST, is of course 5%. Now if we take example of milk and cream, see, milk and cream concentrated or containing added sugar or other sweetening matter like condensed milk or something, including skimmed milk powder, milk food for babies. For this, of course, we have a other than that. Now, what is the code here? We have 0402. Now, if we take cream, yogurt, kefir, and other fermented or acidified milk and cream, it is 0403. Now if I scroll down, I can see so many commodities are being covered. Rather, I can say each one has its recognition in this. Now, what is this list basically called? It is called as the GST tariff. Okay, the GST tariff, where every commodity is listed with a HSN code and an SAC code. HSN is for the goods, SAC is for the services. So if you just scroll down, we can see almost all are covered. Now see, okay, we'll take one of the HSN codes, which has 4 digits. We can, oh, yes. So here, if we have ice and snow, of course it is. This is the code which has been given here. If you observe, okay, we have 2201, 90, and 10. So how do we define this code? There's nothing but the Hsn code for ice and snow. Okay, 2201, 90, and 10. So how many are there? If you can count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maximum we have 8 digit. So if I take down the same here, so the Hsn code just now we saw is 2201, 90, 10. Okay, so this is the code we are having. So how do you break up this code basically? So let me start. The 22 what you're seeing is chapter. 01 is subchapter. 90 is the heading, and 10 will become the subheading. This is I'm talking of if you're going for an 8-digit code. If it is 4-digit or 6-digit, again the same thing. We have chapter, we have subchapter, we have heading. If it is a 4-digit, of course we have is this chapter, probably we have heading, or the we have the chapter and we have the heading. We probably will not have the subchapter. So it's like that. So for an 8-digit, how do you represent? How do we reckon this actually? Under chapter 22, subchapter 01, heading 90, subheading 10, we have ice and snow. So this is how we check out the rates, the current GST rates, what is applicable from the GST tariff, which gives a complete detailed list of the various products and services which are covered. Either it can be subject to tax, or can be subject to nil rate or zero rate of tax, or it can be exempted. So all these three will find a place in the GST tariff. Okay. So So now if I go back to the tariff, can you see here? We have almost all the products, the commodities which are listed in the GST tariff, right? Right. So you can take any commodity here. So we have lignites, we have kerosenes, oil, and everything. Now here if you check for liquefied petroleum, now properly you have the LPG, that is cylinders. Yes. Can you see here liquefied gas, petroleum gas, LPG for supply to household domestic. So what is the code which is being given here? It is 271130. And what is the rate applicable? It is 5% GST. If you take for diagnostic kits for detection of all types of hepatitis and compressed air, heavy water, so whichever commodity you name, you have the code here. If you take here agarbatti, loban means it's like dhoop, batti or samrani. So here if you have the code here, 330741 and 00 here, it is subject to 5%. All these are essential commodities which are subject to 5% GST. So depending, on the commodity, we also have the rates applicable to it. So keep on scrolling. You have almost all the commodities, all the products which are being covered here. Okay. Yes. So this is only the GST tariff which I was discussing of. Okay. Right. So the same thing we have to update in Tally. So let's go back to the Tally screen. Now here we have to give the Hsn code because it's not SAC. Printer is not a service, but printer is a product. So for product we have to give the Hsn code. Now let's find out what is the Hsn code for the printers. Okay. Let's see what is for the printers. Yes, so here we have the complete list. Or you can also check in the CBIT web just now, which I went for it. So we have is here 49, right? So here, yes, so we have this of printing services. So service based we don't want. Or we can also check up in the list two, which we had gone just now. Yeah, we have the GST list rate here, right? So here we have printers. Let's type here the printers, and we give the search. Can you see here? So the chapter, of course, so here you can observe the current rate we have is 18%, 9% CGST, 9% SGST or UTGST. We have 18% as a GST. So what is the code here? It is 8443. So same we have to enter here, 8443. Now here is non-GST goods. No, it's a completely taxable commodity. And calculation type, of course, we have on value because Whenever we are calculating the GST rates, it is always on value. It is never on the item rate. Item rate keeps fluctuating. We don't go for the item rate based tax calculation, never. It is always on the taxable value or the assessable value we calculate the tax. Taxability, of course, we choose taxable because it is subject to 18% tax. Now, we have the integrated, central, and state. So, what do? We have to give the rate as 1/8, the complete rate. Under the field of integrated tax, 18%. So, automatically, there'll be a split of central tax and state tax, that's CGST and SGST, as 9% and 9%. Okay? And we are not giving any cesses as of now. So, this is how you have to get the GST details for the stock item. Please do the same. Okay. So once you're done, press enter. You'll come back to the stock item creation window, and of course here type of supply we have goods. Yes, so here we need not give again the rate of duty because we've already given in the GS detail screen. So we'll just leave it off blank. Okay. And we're not giving the opening balance because we're going to pass a purchase voucher to record the receipt of stock, inflow of stock. So henceforth we are not giving any opening balance for any of the stock items. So opening balance is nil. Okay, it's 0. So just enter, accept, yes. Okay. So the next one we have is Vivo Mobiles, which is 18% GST. So I'll type here Vivo Mobiles. Now Vivo Mobiles come under the group of mobile phones under electronic devices. Units, numbers only you can take. Is GST applicable? Applicable. Set or alter GST as yes. Okay. Now we get the GST details screen. So description again, what we have to give here? Vivo is a brand, so we have to give the description as
Mobile
mobiles.
phone.
Huh? Yes.
Mobile phones.
Yes. Now here, if you observe in the tariff, before I give the coding and all that. Now, if you observe here in the tariff, can you see anywhere there is a brand being given? Anywhere it is given as what do you say, a company name or something has been given here, or a brand name? Nowhere. Yes. Now here, if you take oats only, say here I'm showing as oats. What it is being given, oats put up in a unit container bearing a registered brand name or bearing a brand name. Okay, that's it. But nowhere it is given as Saffola oats or Kellogg's oats or something like that. Nowhere brand is being recognized. So we can say that government is not brand conscious or brand based, because irrespective of the brand or the company what you purchase, which is the commodity, what is the commodity you're going to purchase or service you're going to avail, based on that only the GS rates are being fixed and levied. Okay, it's applicable. So there's no way brand. That's why even here in tally screen, when you're giving the description column, you have to give only the commodity, that is the nature of the commodity. That is, here I'm going to give you mobile phones, not Vivo. And what is the code for the Hsn code? Let's find out here itself. Yes, so we'll go for mobiles. Oh, I think I'll give it as mobile phones. I'll just find out 1 minute. So what is the, sorry, what is the Hsn code? Gst rate, so anyways we are aware. Hsn code for mobile phones. It is 8517. Okay. So actually, this is actually the old rate which is being depicted, but currently it is subject to 18% GST. Okay. What we are seeing is here the old rate, not this. Please don't follow this up. Here is showing us 12% because Google out the information is not recent, but it is 18%. The code we want here, so it is 8517. Okay. So you give here as 8517. On value, it is taxable, and interior tax you give it as 18. 9%, 9% gets a split of CGST, SGST. Okay, enter. Type of supply we have goods. Again, there is no opening balance to be given. Next, we have is this agile pens. We have 12%. Okay, comes under pens. Pens come under stationery. Pens, of course, take numbers because normally when we are trading, we don't take one number or two number pens. Rather, you can go for packets. Preferable packets you can go. So instead of numbers, you can choose packets for pens, or numbers also permissible, but preferably packets. Units packets, GST applicable, yes. Here again we have pens. So what is or you can also give it as stationery. Anything would be okay. Okay. Either pens or you can go for stationery. So here if I give it as, let's check whether we can get for pens directly or we have to go for stationery. Can you see here? We have ballpoint pens, felt tip, and all that, whatever thing. So it's 9608 we have to take. Okay, it is 9608 as the Hsn code. On value taxable. And what is rate applicable for stationery? It is 12%. So 6% CGST, 6% we have SGST. Okay, so yes, type of supply goods. Accept, yes. Next we have is a camphor. Now camphor comes under what? It is a solid fuel. Then a list of categories, of course, we have fuel. Units, of course, camphor we can't take it in the span of numbers. They're like tiny camphor tablets. So better we can go for boxes or we can go for packets. Anything would be okay. Either box or packet, not numbers. GST applicable, set or alter GST, yes. And here we have is this camphor. Now here camphor itself is a product. If you want, you can give the name as like Shakti camphor tablets or whatever it is if required, or you can just repeat as camphor because of course we have brands also for that. So camphor, the Hsn code for the camphor tablets, let's check. Okay, so the road rate is not being recognized. The Hsn code here. You can just give up the commodity here. Yes. So here, I don't go for the rates as I told because currently it is 18% GST. So you can go for the camphor. Can you see here? It is 291421. This is the Hsn code 291421. So you can just go for 291421 as the Hsn code. On value, it is taxable, 18% GST. Okay, so next we have is this Dell computers, subject to tax at 18%. Dell computers comes under the group of computers. Computers come under the group of electronic devices. Units, of course, we have numbers, GSTS, computers. Yes. So what is the code for computers? Computers printers almost the same code we get. Okay, but we can go for it. Computers. We can also check up here. Yes. Can you see here? 8528 can be suggested. 8528 for computers. On value, taxable, and we have 18% GST. Okay, so make sure you're done with this. Next, of course, we have ledger books 12% GST. Comes under notebooks. Stationery. Books can be taken as dozen or can be taken as numbers. So here I'm taking numbers because if I'm not going for an exact dozen purchase, okay, so that time I can go for numbers. GST applicable, set it all to GSTS. Notebooks. What is the Hsn code for the same? Let's check. 4820. Can you see here the rate applicable? This is the current rate. It is 12% GST. 4820. Taxable, 12% GST. So if you haven't done, I can just show you the screen again. Okay. The next one we have is petrol. Petrol, of course, yes. Now, petrol actually is what kind of a commodity? It is a liquid fuel, correct? So we select liquid fuel here. We have got fuel. Units, of course, it is liters. Yeah, here you have to be very careful. Now, there I've given petrol exempt for the only reason because in the GST classification we don't have non GST. So, for information, petrol is non GST. It is not within the ambit of GST. Okay, so there is no CGST, SGST involved, nor it is exempted. What is the difference between exempted and non GST is now you see the list of the tariff items, right? Now we have a huge list here. Yes, we have a huge list of commodities. This is nothing but the GST tariff what you're observing. Now in this GST tariff, you don't find petrol. You find LPG gases, domestic cylinders, everything is there. But as a petrol, you don't have any kind of a description of goods present, which means it is not available in the GST tariff. It stands outside the ambit of GST. Exempted means it will be listed in the tariff and against that particular product it will be nil or a dash here, which means it is exempted from GST, but still it will find a place in this tariff. But if I talk about the petrol, it doesn't find a place in this GST tariff, rather it will stand outside, it is outside the ambit. So henceforth, petrol is a non GST commodity. Okay, so make sure you're aware of that. Petrol is non GST. So, what we have to do here is since petrol is a non GST, since it doesn't find a place in the GST tariff, there is no question of giving the Hsn or the Hsn code. Why? Because it does not find a place in the tariff. And most important, since it is non GST, in this statutory details itself, we have got the GACT applicable, right? So go to the space bar and over
Excuse me,
here,
ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am, what was the rate of interest for petrol? The GST rate?
it is not the G. I'm talking that petrol is non-GST, ma. GST is not applicable for petrol. Okay, so here it is non-GST product. It is not. It is not subject to GST petrol. So what you have to do is the GST applicable. You have to give it as not applicable itself. Why? Because it is non-GST based commodity. Yes, it stands. Petrol is under discussion for GST, but since even till today, GST is not yet implemented on petrol. Now, without implementing GST on petrol only, it has crossed 100 per liter. Just imagine with the implementation of GST, what can happen. Okay, so make sure that when you're giving the statutory details for petrol, GST applicable, let it be not applicable. Okay. Yes. So there only it will cut down your GAC details screen. Accept, yes. Now we go for the last one, that is gold. We have 3%. Yes. So what is the Hsn code for gold? Yes. So here you can see the rate also 1.5, 1.5, 3%. So here we have gold, including gold plated with platinum, unwood or semi-facture on powder form. It is 7108 can be given. Yes, so we have 7108 as the Hsn code. So gold. Now gold can be categorized under the stock group of precious metals. Yes, so you can create it on spot. Now list of groups we have at the top create option, right? So you can create as precious metal. Under primary, should the quantities of the items be added as yes? And stock category you can create on spot under list of categories as metal. Now units, what you can do is you can choose grams preferably, and GST applicable, set or alter GST as yes. So I'll take it as gold. Hsn just now we saw, and what was the code? It is 7108. On value, taxable, and the rate applicable is 3. And 1.5, 1.5, we have CGST and we have SGST. Okay, type of supply goods, that's it, and pass the entry. Okay, so you can take a break of uh, 5 minutes, and then we can resume the session. Okay. So let's resume the session back. Okay, after a short break. So now we have finished the creation of stock categories, groups, and stock items. Yeah. So we have done with all the three. Yeah, we have done with Logitech printers, Vivo mobiles, Agile pens, Camphor, Dell computers, ledger books, petrol, and finally we have gold. So we have created all these stock items. So now we can start with the purchase vouchers. But before that, yeah, I have a small discussion of intrastate inward supplies, which we will go for it. Now, before passing the purchase voucher based entries, we have a concept of supply under GST. And here I've given as intrastate inward supply. First of all, what do we mean by the term supply? Supply becomes the taxable event under GST. That is, on which the GST is leviable. The applicable rates are levied on the particular product or the particular service. Now, for supplies, of course, we have two kinds of supplies. One we have is this intrastate inward supply, and second we have is this interstate inward supply. So we have two kinds. Okay. One is intrastate, and second we have is this interstate inward supply. Now, if we talk about the intrastate inward supply under GST, what do we mean by intrastate inward supply? It's a transaction where the location of the supplier and the place of the supply are the same. Okay. Now here, in an intrastate transaction, a seller has to collect both CGST and SGST from the buyer. And what kind of taxes would be applicable? It is CGST and SGST, where the SGST gets deposited with the central government and the CGST gets deposited with the central government and the SGST gets deposited with the state government. Okay. So, how can we have a better explanation of this under GST? Let's go for it. So, here, if I talk about GST, basically GST stands for Goods and Services Tax. Yes. So, GST is an integrated tax. Why it is called as an integrated tax? Because it is a tax on supply of goods and services. Okay, so GST is an integrated tax, which is a tax on supply of goods and services. Okay, now prior or earlier to GST regime, we had so many indirect taxes, right? So now GST we reckon as an indirect tax for the nation, but before the levy of GST, we had VAT, value added tax, we had service tax, central excise, we have entertainment tax, so we have the octroi duty or the entry tax. So, like this, we had a variety of taxes, variants of taxes, indirect taxes. But now the GST has subsumed all these indirect taxes, okay? So, into one tax, that is GST, goods and services tax, right? So here Now, what is a taxable event for the levy of GST? Taxable event is supply under GST. And of course, here we have two types of supplies. We have intrastate and we have interstate. Okay. Now, what do we know or what do we mean by the intrastate supplies? Intrastate is nothing but where the sales and purchases takes place within the state. Okay. So, what do we mean by the intrastate supply is where the sales and purchases takes place within the state. So we have which we term it as a local sale, local purchases. Intrastate is within the state. That's why whenever we are going to purchase any commodity, it can be online or to the shop, wherever however we're going to purchase, we see only CGST, SGST. We don't see IGST over there. So which means what? What kind of a GST applies? It is which kind of a component? It is CGST and SGST. Okay? So CGST stands for Central Goods and Services Tax, while SGST stands for State Goods and Services Tax. Right? So if we term it as an intrastate supply, we it is nothing but sales and purchases taking place within the state, and what kind of GST component would be applicable? It is CGST and SGST. So if I take the rate as you all saw in the stock item creation, if I take the GST total rate as 18%, okay, so here I have a split of 9% CGST and 9% SGST. So this all of you are evident, right? So how it got a split? So the 9% CGST will be shared by the central government and the 9% SGST by the respective state government. So if it is happening, let's say I am purchasing the stocks within the state of Karnataka. Now I am staying in Bangalore. So if I am purchasing any commodity, let's say from Mangalore, okay. Now Mangalore, Bangalore, both are within the same state, Karnataka. So if at all when I'm receiving any invoice, a tax invoice, and if I check out the tax details, it will be had highlighted as CGST, SGST, and not IGST. Okay, so which means when we talk about the intrastate supplies, what is the GST component applicable? It is CGST and SGST and not IGST. Okay. Now, so I'll just go back to the presentation, I mean, the discussion on the presentation here. Right. So now we are discussing about the purchase, of course. And what kind of purchases are we discussing here? It is intrastate purchases, which means purchases taking place within the state. So it's a local purchase taking place within the state. And why it is called as an inward supply here? Why? Because whenever the stocks are being purchased, okay, of course, we have the receipt of stocks into the business. Business is receiving stock. There is an inflow of stock. That's why it's an inward supply. If you go for a sale, it is an outward supply under GST. Okay. So, if we talk about the intrastate inward supply, of course, it's a transaction, again I will read out, where the location of supplier and place of supply are the same. So as I told, my place of business is here in Bangalore. I am selling my commodities to one of my customers who is situated in, let's say, Mysore. Okay, so Mysore and Bangalore both are within the state of Karnataka. So it is an intra-state. Uh, when I'm talking about a sale, it becomes an outward supply. For my customer, it becomes an intrastate inward supply. So in the intrastate, a seller has to collect both CGST and SGST from the buyer. And as I told, the CGST gets deposited with the central, SGST with the state government. Now we have a few transactions where we can treat the intrastate inward supplies under GST. Okay. So the first one we have is purchased 100 liters of petrol from HP Petrol Bunk, Jayanagar at rupees 100 by cash. Okay? Yeah. So here 100 liters of petrol are being purchased from HP Petrol Bunk. HP Petrol Bunk is situated in Jayanagar at rupees 100 by cash. Okay? Now here we have to observe this transaction very carefully. Petrol is being purchased from HP Petrol Bunk. So how do we record this entry in a purchase voucher? So we'll go in a slow pace for the first voucher which we are passing in Tally. So what we'll do is we'll come back to the gateway of Tally. Yes, go to the vouchers under transactions. And here, what is the functional key for a purchase voucher I've given here? It is F9. Okay. So what is the functional key? It is F9 for the purchase voucher. So press F9, you would get a purchase voucher. Okay. So hope all of you have got the purchase voucher. So use the functional key F9 to get a purchase voucher. Now here you have a screen as supply invoice number, party account name, purchase ledger, and under that you have name of the item, quantity, rate, and amount. I want to make sure if you're getting everybody, it's fine. If any of you are not getting the current screen, that is especially name of the item, quantity, rate, and amount, let me know. Suppose you're getting particulars, rate, amount, you're not getting name of the item. In case you're not getting, let me know or we can proceed with the entry. Okay. So I hope all of you are getting this screen, name of the item, quantity, rate, and amount. Now here at the top we have supply invoice number. So whenever we are purchasing, now when I am purchasing for my company from one of my suppliers, I receive a bill, tax invoice. So if you observe, every bill, every invoice will have a bill number, yeah, which is appearing at the top of the invoice. That bill number has to be given here in the supplier's invoice number field. So here I'll give a simple one as 001. Okay. Now I will press enter. Now here I'm having date. Next to invoice number I'm having date, and here also I'm having a date. Now what are these two dates? Let me explain you the difference between the two dates here. The date what you're watching here on the right hand side is the voucher entry date. So what is a voucher entry date is the date on which you enter or you pass a purchase voucher towards the purchases which is being made. Okay. Now, if we talk about this particular date, that is 1st of April 21, okay, as the date, this is the date of purchase. Suppose if I am purchasing like we take an example of a transaction. Let's say, okay. So let me take the example as the date of purchase. When I purchase a stock for my business, the date of purchase is 16 November 2021. Date of entry is 18th November 21. Okay? Yes, so we have date of purchase and we have date of entry. Now, if we talk about the date of purchase, here we have this, which means what? I had made the purchase of goods for my business on 16 November. I'm passed an entry for the same, for the purchase made in my Tally software, which is my company books of accounts on 18 November. After 2 days, I passed the entry. So here, if I come back to the Tally screen, I have two dates, right? So here, which is showing on the right hand side, this is actually the date of entry, where I have to give here as what? 18th November. Okay. So here I have to give it as 18th November. Yes. Damini B, please do mute yourself. I think you have unmuted. Yeah, thank you. So, yes, so here, if I talk about the right hand side, what is appearing the date? That is the voucher entry date. So when I had made an entry in my books of accounts on 18 November, this has to be given over here. If I talk about this date, which is next to supplier invoice number, this is the date of purchase. So when I made a purchase here, 16th November. So I have to give here as 16th November. Date of entry in the voucher is 18th November. Okay. So this is the voucher entry date and this is the date of purchase. So this classification, differentiation, we must know. Okay. So as of now, we can't change the date, as I told, since we're using a trial version. Here, date change is a limitation. So that's why I've explained you the difference. Now here, party we have. Now from whom we are purchasing petrol? From which party the petrol is being purchased? Let me go back to the illustration here. Um, yes, purchased 100 liters of petrol from HP petrol bunk. So the supplier is HP petrol bunk of Jayanagar. Now for Jayanagar, you need not activate any cost center because Jayanagar why specifically I've given here is to make sure we are depicting here Bangalore. Okay, because our company is incorporated or situated in Karnataka. We are purchasing within Karnataka and we are purchasing from a supplier who is in Bangalore itself. So it becomes an intrastate. So in that context, I've given as Jayanagar. So need not activate the cost centers here. Even though you activate also no harm. So party account we have to create it. So party account in the list of ledgers we have the create option, HP petrol bunk. So if he is my supplier of petrol for my business, I would categorize under the group of sundry creditors. Okay. So maintain balances bill by bill as yes. Make sure it is yes. That's all. Address pin code as I told in the sessions. Of course, if you would like to give, you can give it up. Okay. Yes. Now here we have the receipt details. Receipt details nothing but the GRN details. Suppose I'm receiving any commodity or a product or any service, we have the GRN, the goods receipt note. That details you have to update there. First, of course, I would like to show you that and then we can process the same. As of now, you can just press enter and so we have the party details here. So you'll come back to the purchase ledger screen.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you repeat the sentence?
Which entry? So this, no, this entry I've not yet done. I'm just in the process of doing
No,
it.
no, ma'am.
So,
The HP petrol bank during the ledger creation.
huh.
So I missed that part. So if you could do it again, or you could just tell me.
In the ledger creation, as I told, you need not activate the cost centers. That's one thing. And if you want me to show the HP petrol bank ledger, this would be the case. Yes. So here you can make out how I've created the ledger. So in the ledger creation window, make sure that bill by bill is being yes. Cost center, you can deactivate it as no. And address, pin code details, it's all left to you. Okay. So you can just enter these details and accept the screen. Okay. Once you create the party ledger, accept yes. So here we have, yeah. So I was talking about the receipt details, right? So receipt details, as I told you, update the GRN details here. I would first show you a GRN form and then later discuss about this. As of now, we can just press enter. So here you have the party details, where you can give the complete address. Now here they are given as Jayanagar, right, in the illustration. So here you can give where exactly in Jayanagar. You can give up the address details here. So purchase ledger. Now purchase ledger, you have to create a ledger. So what we have to do is we have to select the create option in the list of ledgers and create a ledger as purchase. Okay. So create a ledger as purchase. Now purchase ledger will come under the group of purchase. Type of ledger not applicable. Cost center, make sure it is deactivated. Make it as no for cost centers. Press enter. Is GST applicable? Applicable. Set or alter GST? No. Why? If you make it as yes, we have to activate or set the GST rate for one particular commodity of one particular service. So henceforth, we are not activating here. Rather than the stock item creation window itself, we are doing the necessary updations. So as of now in this purchase ledger, we need not activate this set or alter GST details. So we can give it as no itself. Type of supply, of course, we have to select as goods. Yes. So screen is on for you and this is how you have to create the purchase ledger. Accept, yes. Okay. So now we come for the name of the item. Okay. So here, since petrol is being purchased, what do we do is we'll press the space bar. I hope all of you have come to the name of the item field. Press the space bar. Once you press the space bar, you get the list of stock items. And over here, you have to choose petrol. Now you get list of ledgers when you're working on accounting, pure accounting vouchers, that's contra, payment, receipt, and journal. In the same way, when we are creating or using a purchase voucher, we get the list of stock items because it is an accounting come inventory based vouchers. So inventory aspect is involved in these vouchers. So here we select petrol. Moment we select petrol, it will take you to the item allocation screen. So where you have the go down details to be given. Now Tally would be asking that once you have made a purchase of petrol, where would you store it? In which go down? So space bar. Now you can select the go down, whichever go down you have created, like 2 3 go downs, right? So you can create, you can select any one. Now I am selecting go down 1. Once you select go down, press enter. Now what is the quantity of petrol that is being purchased? It is 100 liters of petrol at 100 per liter. So 100 liters of petrol at 100 per liter. So just mention the quantity as 100, press enter, rate 100, press enter. So you get the total amount automatically. Okay. Once you get the amount, press enter, enter. Yes. So we come back to the purchase voucher screen, press enter, enter, enter. Yes. So we come to the narration. Okay. So here what we have to give it as being petrol purchased for cash from HP petrol pump. Yes. And this is the way we pass the entries. Please do pass the entry. In case you're having doubt with regard to any field here, any ledger creations, let me know in the last 5 minutes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes, button.
Uh,
What is the
ma'am,
doubt?
after clicking, ma'am, after clicking on the 10,000, I'm getting a new pop-up, ma'am. It's like bill-wise details for HP Petrol Bank up to
So there.
10,000 credit,
Ah,
and it's asking
okay.
for type of reference, ma'am. What
Done,
should
done,
we click?
done. So there you can give it as on account because we're using as petrol, right? So here I've
Yes,
given as
ma'am.
directly for cash. Yeah. So what you can do is you can select on account over there. Okay. In case you're getting the bill wise details, you can go for the on account. Because it's gone by cash. Okay, in case your bill wise details isn't appearing on the screen, you can just put up in the narration as on cash. Then later we can add up that. Okay. So any other doubt you're having regarding the purchase based entries? Please make sure. it's clear. Yes. So once you type the narration, you give the narration as being petrol purchase for cash from HP petrol bunk. You also have the option of control I, the more details, where you can also update the details here, party wise, in case you want to give his address and all that. That can be given, or you have the show more option here, okay, where you have the supplier invoice number. If you have not given, you would like to give it the effective date and all the details. Okay, so all these details can be given up here too. Right, so I hope the entry is clear for all of you. So once you type the narration, you can pass the entry. The rest of the vouchers, of course, we will do it up in the next session. Okay, so since you have begun with the purchase vouchers, we'll carry on with that, the intrastate inward supplies. And of course, I will have further discussions on GST as well, okay, which I'll be discussing along with the vouchers, right? So we'll end up the session for the day till the purchase voucher, the first we have done for the day. As I told, the rest will be completed tomorrow, right? So let's end the program for today. Thank you.